This over here, my childhood memory. G'day guys, how's it going? Welcome back to Sam's Home Kitchen, where I bring to you budget-friendly recipes with sustainability in mind. So this week's recipe is a trip down of memory lane to kind of my childhood. I grew up in Taiwan. I remember when I was in school. So my mom's always organizing breakfast every week, every second week. Whenever she's out of idea, she will just go down to this corner shop that's about a couple minutes around. Instead of bread, instead of pastry that is consumed in the Western culture, in Taiwan, we have this thing called baozi or mantou, which is essentially like a steamed buns. I'm a savory breakfast kind of guy. My favorite is the fluffy steamed bun that is wrapped around a little pork ball that is combined with bamboo shoot. The crunchiness of bamboo shoot with a packed full of flavor of pork, such a luxury, but it was one of my favorite breakfast items when I was growing up. I'm going to try to recreate that, but making everything at home. I know these baozi are readily purchasables, but purchasing versus making things at home, I just want to work out how much money we can actually save. Instead of pork mince, we're going to grind our own meat and work out how much of a better quality of pork we can get out of grinding our own meat. So if that sounds interesting to you, hold on tight and let's make our steamed buns together. Okay, to make our pork baozi or steamed buns, we are breaking up our ingredients into two sections. Start for our buns and the list of ingredients to make our pork fillings. Not that kind of feelings. For our buns, we'll need some plain flour, water, yeast, sugar, and salt. The list of ingredients on the screen will yield us 12 buns. Since they are all in grams, you can divide all of the ingredients by 12 and then just multiply by however many buns you want to make. Being precise and scientific is so beautiful. For the fillings, as I mentioned earlier, I'm going to step you through how to grind our own meat. I got a hunk of pork shoulder here, but you can absolutely just use some pork mince. To bring some freshness to the filling, cabbage is really cheap at the moment, so that is what I am going to use. To season, some soy sauce, salt, sesame oil, white pepper, and a touch of starch to bring it all together. It looks like a lot, but most of the ingredients are just pantry items, so don't get discouraged. We'll get these aside and get started. So we are starting with our pork shoulder. If you got some mince hanging around, feel free to skip to this timestamp on the screen if you don't feel like watching my amazing butchering techniques and camera works. So pork shoulder is this part of a pig, quite well exercised and relatively lean. So the piece I got here has already got some trims done for Sunshine Bao dinner last night, but as you can see, there are still some loose bits here and there, which is exactly what we're going to trim off for our baozi today. So to make our life easier, and to finish the job with as many fingers as we started with, always make sure to work with a sharp knife. Being no chef and definitely not a butcher myself, I did find breaking a big piece of meat like this a little bit daunting at the start, but as long as we follow the tissue and keep in mind what we want to end up with in the end, it's actually very straightforward. I'll show you how. See this piece here, there is an obvious silver skin sandwiched between two pieces of muscle. Gently pull the top piece of muscle away and just follow the silver skin with your knife. Cut along the connective tissue, and I make sure to leave a good amount of thickness on the bigger piece. Another corner here, this piece is just hanging off the main cut. It will absolutely dry out if I left it on and left cooking with the bigger piece. So follow the instruction given by the meat and we'll separate it from the connective tissue here. So after some trimming, I am left with this much to turn into mince, and our main pork shoulder cut is tidy up. Leave a comment down below and let me know if you like a crispy pork roast recipe. I've been loving those so much lately. Next, I grab my silicone freezer bag. Measure out how I want to cut it up before I do so. Looks like straight down the middle will do the trick just fine. These beautiful fat caps will render and crisp up in the oven so well. In our freezer bags nice and tight, and they can stay in the freezer for quite a while. So now with our offcuts, before we go ahead and mince these up, a little trick is to stick them in the freezer for an hour or so they firm up. Spread them out in a tray, and then off to the freezer we go. First our portion up pork shoulder, and then the meat tray. After about an hour, the offcuts are still soft enough to cut through, but firm enough that they won't just turn into mush when being ground up. Cut them into smaller manageable sizes. Next, set up the grinder. So this clampy thing never fits my dining table, which used to just frustrate me a lot. Until the other day when I was fixing my cupboard door and I realized that these quick action clamps will do the trick just fine. Pretty proud of this hack here. Slight change of position so it's easier to clamp. One thing I do want to point out is just look at how much leaner this meat is. Apart from cost savings, knowing exactly what is in the mince is one other clear benefit. So our mince is done. We'll set it in the fridge for now while we work on the dough. And this is where we meet the people who buys mince. Welcome, we don't judge. To make our dough for the buns, start off with 3 grams of instant yeast, 4 grams of sugar and a couple grams of flour to feed our yeast. Next, add in 100 grams of lukewarm water, somewhere around 40 to 50 degrees Celsius. Grab a tiny whisk and we want to give it a mix to start waking up the yeast. Set the yeast mixture aside while we'll put the rest of the dough together. In a mixing bowl, we want 300 grams of plain flour or all-purpose flour, a pinch of salt about 5 grams to help with the dough structure, 50 grams of water since the other 100 grams is already in the yeast mixture. Give the yeast mixture about 10 to 15 minutes and we should see a layer of CO2 foam on top. With our yeast being active and hungry, add it to the mixing bowl to form our dough. Scrape it clean so nothing is wasted. With our wet and dry ingredients, stir it all up until the dough is roughly combined. And then we can get our hands in. With 300 grams of flour and 150 grams of water, this is a 50% hydration dough, so it should be fairly easy to handle. Knead the dough for a few minutes until it comes together. Once the dough is formed, take it out of the mixing bowl and knead until it's all combined. Make sure to use the end of your palm and press it with your body weight to save some elbow grease. Once it all comes together, cover the dough with the bowl and not plastic wraps. So rest for about 20 minutes. The dough is smoother, softer, and starting to show signs of rising. We now want to knead it until it's nice and smooth. Shape it into the bowl, and next we're doing the first proof of the dough. Chuck it into the mixing bowl and cover it with the lid or chopping board as such so the dough don't dry out. Please, there is no need to use plastic wraps. We are going to let the dough proof for an hour or until it's double in size. Set the dough aside and we are going to get on with our bun fillings. So our pork mince is just chilling in the fridge. I want to add in some vegetable elements to add a bit more texture. I got this massive cabbage for $2, so it's a no-brainer. We can see that the outer layer is a bit dry and starting to yellow. But hey, apart from the appearance, it's 100% edible. Plus it's going to be hidden in the bun, so I'm just going to use it. I'll let my partner do a taste test and we'll see what she says at the end. Get a few leaves of cabbage. We want a 1:1 cabbage to mince ratio, so I kind of just went by weight. To make 12 buns, we need 300 grams each. Give the leaves a good wash and shake off excess liquid. Back to the cutting board. Cut the cabbage into strips and then into 1 centimeter cubes. Back into the mixing bowl. Next, we want to soak the cabbage to soften it and then draw out some moisture. Throw in 5 grams of salt. Distribute and massage it through evenly. Once it's evenly salted, give it a good 20 minutes to do its thing. 20 minutes is up and we can see the cabbage has sweated a fair bit. Now, use both hands and we want to squeeze out as much liquid as possible. The reason we're doing this is so that we don't end up having excess liquid seeping through the dough and ruin our pillowy buns. Get rid of the salty cabbage water and add the cabbage back into the bowl. Next, we can add in the pork mince we prepared earlier. Add in 10 grams of starch to help the filling hold together, 8 grams of salt, 5 grams of sugar, 5 grams of soy sauce and 5 grams of sesame oil to season. And then a generous amount of white pepper, obviously adjusted based on your liking. It's traditional to add in some ginger as aromatics, but I don't happen to have any, so I added minced garlic instead. That is about 5 to 10 grams of aromatics, give or take. Now we have all of the ingredients needed for the filling. Next, all we need to do is mix it well and combine it. Get your hands in and work through the moisture and starch for it to all come together. The texture should be more or less like this, and you know what I mean when I say it kind of just holds together. So with the time taken to make our filling, the dough has risen and doubled in size for me. I want to tear the dough apart and show you the gluten structure. Just how cool is that? So now take the dough out of the bowl and we want to knead the dough again to basically get rid of all of the air generated with our first proof. We want to reset the dough to capture the air bubbles in the second proof, which will be more consistent and uniform. Knead the dough till smooth and next we want to portion up into 12 even doughs. Me being a very annoying butt, I like to be precise and get even sizes, but you do you and feel free to just eyeball. Put a finger through the middle of the dough and that is how you make bagels. Just kidding. Break from one end and that is an easy way to get a consistent log of dough for portioning. Cut the dough into 12 portions, each should weigh at around 38 to 40 grams. With each portion up dough, reshape them by pulling the edges into the middle and roll it in the palm to seal the seams up. From another angle and we'll do it again. Pull the edges in to create some tension, flip it over and just roll it into a bowl. Next step, we are rolling the dough out. Flour the bench surface and then we grab a dough ball. Flatten the dough a touch and make sure that we flour both sides. Grab a rolling pin and start rolling the bottom 1/3 of the dough, rolling away from you. Rotate the dough like 30° with each roll until it's a round shape. Doing so will give us a thicker bun base, but with thinner pleats on top of the bun. Aim for a rolled out dough size that is a touch bigger than your palm. Flour the work surface and we'll do it again. Grab a dough and start rolling outwards while keeping the center of the dough more or less untouched. Go round and round and round and round, and that is it. You can see the thickness of the dough when I hold it up against the video light here. Alright, we're finally getting to assembly time. Grab a piece of our flat dough, scoop a healthy amount of filling right in the center. I'd say about 50 grams per bun is pretty good. Now the pleats. Start from a spot on the edge and we want to use our index finger to bring a section of the edge towards the thumb. We'll pinch the sections together as we work it all around. Notice I'm turning the bun slowly with my left hand while my right hand barely moves apart from my index finger and my thumb. To close it off, we should end up with a small circle on top where the thumb goes. You can leave it open like what I got here or pinch it close. And that is one buns done. Pop it in a tray and cover it with a damp towel if you think it will take a little while to work through all of them. We'll do it from the side and we'll show you again. Filling in and start pinching the dough together with our thumb and index finger, one section at a time. Once we get to the end, tidy up the top of the bun by sealing the edges close. And that's how you make buns. Now the baos are all made, we are on home stretch. For ease of steaming and adjustments, we are best to line each bao with a piece of baking paper or grease-proof paper. You can use baking paper as it is, but if you got grease-proof paper like me, after portioning them up, you'll need to make sure that you oil each piece of paper to ensure they don't stick to the buns. With all that done, we can put the buns on. Without the papers, the buns will get quite wet from the steam, stick to the steamer, and break. Load them up in the steamer. Next, you can either let them proof for another 10 to 20 minutes or do this. Grab a big pot and load it up with cold water for steaming. Heat on medium and put the steamer basket straight on without waiting for the water to boil first. While the buns are steaming, I put the other 6 in the freezer, which we'll get to later. Steaming from cold allows us to reduce the second proof time, which encourages the dough to get more airy and fluffy. Steam for about 20 minutes and leave the buns in for additional 5 minutes after the heat is turned off, so that we can avoid the buns shrinking right back. And that is how you make steamed pork buns. The cost breakdown is as below. Altogether, 12 pork buns costed us $3.06 to make. That is less than 26 cents per bun. Alright, and there we have it. That is our steamed pork bun, or buns done right here. It smells so good. I broke it open just then and it's so juicy. I'm going to dig in and just let you know how it tastes like. It's so bloody good. The bun is so soft, super pillowy, and the filling on the inside nice and crunchy, coming from the cabbage and the pork. Compared to the ordinary mince from supermarket, I don't see no fat that's drizzling out from the bun. Nice and healthy, super wholesome. So happy with this result, and obviously there's so many variation in terms of the fillings, and you can also make it vegan or vegetarian friendly. I might have a video coming out for that particular purpose, so stay tuned. Alright, that is all I got for you. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed, if you learned something, give the video a like and consider subscribing. I have a new video coming out every 2 weeks. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next one. So how does it taste like?
Tastes like a pork bun.
Cabbage alright?
It's good. The cabbage still has some crunch to it, which is great. The pork is seasoned nicely.